The LIMEN Helix Gazette, 48 volts from another building. Essay, Kansas, February 2023. On the evening, a routine did not happen. There is a telephone in the bottom drawer of my mother's kitchen. Beige, corded, the coil wound around it twice and tucked under itself, the way you put a thing away properly rather than just putting it away. It hung on that wall for 26 years. She took it down in the spring of 2019 when the fiber went in, and the man said she would not be needing it. And she has not needed it. She is not sentimental about objects, and it is not being kept for parts. There is nothing left in that house it will plug into. The cord reached the pantry, which is where you took a call you did not want heard, and there is a worn place on the door frame at shoulder height from 26 years of it going round the corner. You answered by the third ring. Nobody made that a rule. It was simply what happened. And the phone worked. It worked in the ice storm at the end of January in 2002. The power was off for 5 days. The house went down to 41 degrees and we slept in the front room under everything we owned, and my mother called her sister at 7 every evening from a dark kitchen with her coat on. I was 11. I took from that, without ever putting it in a sentence, that the telephone was the thing that did not stop. It was never the phone. It was where the power came from. A copper pair is fed from the exchange, 48 volts down the line, out of a building with its own batteries and its own generator, and somebody whose entire job is that those two things work. Your house is not part of that circuit and never was, which is the whole reason it rang in the ice storm. Fiber and voice over the internet are powered from your side of the wall, so when your electricity stops, the telephone stops with it. The rule that arrived with the changeover requires the carrier to offer you a backup battery. It is 8 hours. You buy the replacements. Nothing on the box tells you when the one inside it has quietly stopped holding a charge, and if there is a light for that, it is on the back, facing the wall of a closet. The power went out on a Tuesday in February at 4:20, which is early dark, and stayed out until Wednesday afternoon. There is a little box in the hall closet that the man installed in 2019, and it has a battery in it. And the battery had been dead for some length of time nobody will ever establish, because the only way to find out is to look, and there is no reason to look. She went to the handset out of habit. It was not that it failed to connect. It made no sound at all. And she told me later that was the part that stopped her, that she stood there working out what was wrong with the room. Her cell phone was in the car, which was in the garage, which does not open without power, and there is one bar in that kitchen on a clear day. So the call at 7 did not happen. My aunt is 81, and they have made that call at 7 for 31 years. After 40 minutes, she rang the neighbor, who did not answer. After an hour, she rang the sheriff's office. Then she sat in her own kitchen 400 miles away for 2 hours and 40 minutes with nothing to do about any of it. Nobody was hurt. That is the whole event. The deputy who came out is named Wes Trammell, and he arrived at 10 past midnight, and when he had established that she was fine, he did not leave. He went back to the car, called my aunt on his own cell from the driveway, and stayed on with her until she had stopped crying, which took a while, and which he has never mentioned to my mother or to me. Then he came back to the door and asked whether she wanted him to look at the box in the closet. He came back the following Saturday, off shift, in his own truck, with the right battery, and put it in, and would not take anything for it. He said his mother was out on the North Road on her own, and he had done his own in the fall. It fixed nothing. The house still has no line of its own. The backup is still 8 hours. And the next one will die the same quiet way this one did with nothing to announce it. But my mother has a card with his number on it under the magnet on the refrigerator, which is a piece of paper that requires a working telephone. I bought one in March, beige, corded, the same shape, from a man in Hutchinson who refurbishes them and says business is steady and does not elaborate. I call her at 7 now. She did not ask me to, and I have never mentioned that I do it. And if the line is busy, it is because my aunt got there first, which happens about one evening in 3. This house went up in 2021. There is no jack in any wall of it and no copper in the street to run one to. And the man in Hutchinson knew that before I did and sold it to me anyway. It is in the drawer under the cutlery. I have shown my daughter where it is. This reading was produced with a synthetic voice. The writing is the paper's own.